What's up? What's up, man? Sports Monday, baby. We got the Rams going up against the 49ers. We got Lakers versus Bulls. We got Dallas Mavericks versus Denver Nuggets. And the Denver Nuggets are only up by 3 points, by the way. So good game, man. They finally giving Bobo some play. Y'all see Bobo get busy? Dunk. He could shoot the ball. He a big dude, man. He got some long arms. If he could stack some meat on his body, he could have potential for being like an all-star, like KD style. You know what I'm saying? Real talk, yo. And for the foolery of the day again, you know who I'm gonna get on, right? You know who I'm gonna make fun of, right? You know who I'm gonna make fun of, right? Scottie Pippen. None other than Scottie Pippen. Now you may say, what's Scottie Pippen doing now? Well, I'm going to tell you what Scottie Pippen is doing now. Scottie Pippen compared himself to Kevin Durant. He said him and Kevin Durant is equal. The words that coming out of this man's mouth, he doing anything and everything to sell a book. Bro, I'm going to repeat this to you. Scottie Pippen, you have no idea how crazy you sound, but you are nowhere near the level of Kevin Durant, okay? You're not equal to Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant averaged what you averaged for your whole career, probably in his rookie season. Go sit down somewhere, bro. Really, sit down somewhere, okay? You ain't stopping KD from scoring. He'll drop buckets on you. If baby Kobe could drop buckets on you, and you said Kobe was one of the hardest guys you ever had to guard, because he reminds you of Michael Jordan. So if he's the hardest guy to guard and he reminds you of Michael Jordan, how the hell are you better than Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant? When you just openly just admit in your book that guarding Kobe was like guarding Mike. It was that hard. So that means you couldn't guard Mike neither. You see how stupid you sound? You're making no sense, dog. But some of these slurpers, like my man Philly would say, will come out here and try to co-sign that stupidity. Y'all really think Kevin Durant and Scottie Pippen on equal value? Scottie Pippen, man. If you believe what Scottie Pippen's saying, you been hallucinating on some drugs. I know you just capping, Z. I know you capping. There's no way you believe that stupidity. Because you can't say one thing, then say something completely different the next. Because it doesn't make your point clear. And it doesn't make any sense. I mean, I think what Jordan did was make Scottie Pippen more tougher. He probably still would have been an all-star for a season or two. Keep in mind, he's only a 6-time all-star. So Jordan was making the all-star games damn near, or putting up all-star numbers right out the gate. Guys like Jordan and LeBron was putting up all-star numbers out the gate, I think so too, man. Future must have did some number on Scottie Pippen, man. Scottie Pippen admitted himself. He spent a lot of his time after playing basketball hanging out in clubs and all this other stuff. Mike was working on his game. Guys like Kobe was working on their game. Yeah, I'm a Marvel fan. I've been a Marvel fan since I was a kid. I got to hold it down and represent for it, Yeah, I think MJ put the toughness in Scottie Pippen, But I tell you this much. When people sit there and say, oh, Jordan wouldn't be Jordan, Scottie Pippen wouldn't, these guys would have been their same players. They would have been, you can't stop somebody from being an all-star, period. You can't stop Michael Jordan from being an all-star or all-time great. Take championships out the equation. He's still going to lead the league in scoring 10 times. He's still going to be a 5-time MVP. He's still going to have a defensive player of the year. He's going to have all of this stuff, all of these accolades, all right, as an individual player. Now, winning basketball is a team accomplishment, but as a superstar, you do get the most credit. Okay, we get it. But come on, man. Stop tripping, Scottie Pippen. Come on, man. Yeah, Octavius, why you won't keep that same energy for Future or Malik Beasley? Beasley, sorry. I'm all over the place. Beasley. Keep that energy for him. That's the guy you should be mad at. Why are you mad at Mike for? Then he said Scotty. Yeah, he said Phil Jackson was a racist. Phil Jackson coached Kobe, Shaq, Jordan. Don't you think if he was a racist, he would have been said, everybody would have said something? Most people tell you that's the best coach I ever played for. Man, this guy literally, you just mad because from a talent standpoint, he didn't believe you. You couldn't shoot anyway. Nobody want to depend on Scottie Pippen with that broke-ass shot to try to hit a game-winning shot. Of course, we're going to give the ball to a Tony Kukoc because he had a better jump shot. Them European boys always got a better jump shot because they're not as athletic sometimes, you know? I mean, Walt has a case. I mean, a lot of people have a case, but I think it fall on deaf ears, man. You got to win over the public, you know? The general public just won't give Walt Chamberlain that nod. I think he out the race. You know, he been out the race for GOAT, you know, because his individual accolades don't equal his team success. I think you got to have a little bit hand in hand. Hold on for a minute. You know what I'm saying? You got to have it a little bit hand in hand, you know, but he talking all this crazy stuff. Now, the reason why he compared himself to Kevin Durant, because they was talking about could the Bulls beat the Warriors. I mean, listen, man, we could go back and forth. You know, some people think the Bulls would have beat the Warriors. You know, it's all good, whichever you believe, you know. Exactly, LT. He was already an all-star. Jordan won an MVP, a scoring title, all in the same year. Come on, man. And ever since Jordan got to the Bulls, they make the playoffs every single year. Yeah, they were trying to trade Scottie Pippen. They were trying to trade Scottie Pippen for what's this guy named? Sean Kemp. But he bugging, man. He ain't on no level as Kobe, or you ain't gonna never be mentioned on the same level with these guys. You know, you better sit down somewhere, dude, because you can't stop none of these guys. You can't stop LeBron. You can't stop Kobe. You can't stop MJ. You can't stop none of these dudes from moving the way they move. You know, come on, man. What are you talking about? At some point, it just gets per stupidity. That's why everybody laughing at it, because they know it don't make no sense. I think he really lost his mind, man. He really out, and it's funny how Michael Jordan not even paying attention to none of this. You know, except Paul Pierce. Listen, man, there's a lot of players better than Scottie Pippen. It's just the truth. I'm sorry. Okay, it's just the truth. Even in his own era, man. Bernard King, prime Bernard King was better than Scottie Pippen. Isaiah Thomas better than Scottie Pippen. Dominique Wilkins used to give Scottie Pippen the business. Dropped 40 a game when Pippen was guarding him. The only guy that could bat him was Michael Jordan. Him and Michael Jordan used to be pumping their chests out, scoring 40 on each other. But Scottie Pippen was, you just did watching, dog. You wasn't even equal. Where your buckets? You was just sitting there watching Michael Jordan. You just a spectator, dog. In the 98 finals, when Jordan hit that move from Byron Russell, Scottie Pippen was wide open for a three. Michael Jordan said, I'm not passing the ball to no damn Scottie Pippen. For what? For you to brick a three? Man, get out of here with that. Yeah, and was a role player. If you're so great, you got to keep up all-star numbers. And averaging 16 a game is not really all-star numbers, man. I'm sorry, dog. There's players now that could do that in their sleep. You ain't setting the world on fire with that. When Jordan left, you averaged 20 a game in the playoffs, shot 40% from the field. 40 or 39% from the field, but that's terrible. For 20 points a game, that means you was doing a lot of bricks. It took you to shoot 40% from the field just to average 20 points. Are you serious? Michael Jordan was averaging 30 points shooting in his 50s. LeBron James was averaging 29, 20, 28 points shooting in his 50s. Were you on something? I mean, like Scottie Pippen crazy, man. Trying to discredit everything just to give yourself props. You talking about a man that won Defensive Player of the Year, then multiple time first all-team defense. And Scottie Pippen was like, you know, all Mike did was just score. No, Mike did way more than score. He wasn't a first time. Man, this is what you guys don't understand. You seen how Kobe shut LeBron down in the All-Star games, play tight defense on him? He could do that on LeBron during those times anytime he wanted to. That's called playing defense. He said, I would have locked up Scotty. You wouldn't have to do much, Zach, because he can't score that good anyway. You don't even have to play much defense on Pippen. Just let him shoot. He gonna brick. He only shoot 40%. He gonna brick most of the shots. It's a miracle that Michael Jordan was able to win 6 championships with that guy. But y'all acting like he a top 10 player in the world. Oh, he was a top 10 all-time player. Get the hell out of here. Scottie Pippen not a top 10 player, not a top 5 player, not a top 20 player. He may be a top 40 or a top 30 at the most. This 2021. There's already guys that surpassed Scottie Pippen, that did better than Scottie Pippen. Kawhi Leonard got a better individual career than Scottie Pippen because Kawhi Leonard wasn't playing the backseat for long like Scottie Pippen was. Come on, man. Man, Kobe was, Z. Octavius. Kobe was busting Scottie Pippen up. If you were so good, Scottie, why couldn't you stop a baby Kobe Bryant? Kobe wasn't even in his prime, and he was just looking at you like you was nothing, dog. And it's not just that, dog. Plenty of guys was giving Scottie Pippen the business. Larry Johnson, Grant Hill, Dominique Wilkins, Hakeem Olajuwon. I could go on and on. Shaq came into the game as a rookie, and people was automatically saying he's one of the top 50 greatest players of all time. In 1992, Shaq was dominant already. Prime Grant Hill was a beast. Injuries slowed down his career, but he was giving Scottie Pippen the business, and the league was looking to make him the new face of the NBA after Jordan retired. They'll say, oh, Jordan, these young bucks coming. Grant Hill is coming. I mean, come on, man. How long are we going to keep going for this nonsense? Scottie Pippen was a solid, good player. Even in today's league, he probably wouldn't flourish as much. Some people think he had been a more upgrade version of Sean Marion. Are you serious? Scottie, come on, man. Y'all bugging, man. No, I just Karl Malone better than Scottie Pippen. How many players I gotta mention better than Scottie Pippen? And that's just from his era, man. Half of those players I just named was from his era. Oh, we got a fight. And there's there's been a lot of fights in the NBA games now that they don't call fouls no more, or don't call fouls as much. Now they let guys fight. This is not basketball from the old school era. But in the NBA back in the day, they let guys throw punches. Y'all remember Julius Erving punching Larry Bird in the face? Larry Bird and Julius Erving better than Scottie Pippen. To say like that, I could be here all day. I could mention a bunch of players. Moses Malone was better than Scottie Pippen. I could be here all day. Carmelo Anthony's better than Scottie Pippen. Come on, man. Are we serious? Are we serious, dog? Prime Carmelo Anthony would have gave Scottie Pippen the business. But you better than Kevin Durant? You on the same level with Kevin Durant? Dog, get out of here, man. Why you capping like that? Nah, I would say he probably a top in the 90s because the Bulls was winning. I would say I give him the benefit of the doubt, say he about top 15. I just named like several players better than him in the 90s and some in the 80s. There was just too much players better than him. Reggie Miller did something Scottie Pippen couldn't do. He beat the Knicks. Scottie Pippen couldn't beat the Knicks as the alpha and the number one. Scottie Pippen didn't hit those threes like Reggie Miller was doing and doing like this, the choke sign to the Knicks. Reggie Miller was putting pressure on my Knicks. Scottie Pippen couldn't do that. Reggie Miller led his team to the finals in 2020. I mean, not 2020, year 2000. And pushed the Bulls to 7 games. Reggie Miller did that. You think Scottie Pippen gonna push the Bulls to 7 games if he was on another team, being the number one option? Get the hell out of here. Come on, man. Scottie Pippen was a solid basketball player. But the fact that Jordan won with you makes even more credit to Michael Jordan because he won 6 titles with you. It's not like he won 6 titles with Karl Malone and Hakeem Olajuwon on the same team. Then I would judge Jordan a little differently. Yo, Z, you better than Pippen. That's right. I mean, like, what are we talking about here? The Joker got an MVP. Scottie Pippen never even got one before. The Joker put up better numbers than Scottie Pippen, averaging a near triple-double. A better playmaker than you, too, and he a big man. You see all these passes he doing in this game? We're 83 to 85. He said just to be trolling. I don't know. I think Pippen get an edge over him. I Detlef Trent was nice, but he was in the same league with Scottie Pippen. They weren't franchise players. So they both like they right there. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give Pippen the edge a little bit, but I mean, Shawn Kemp prime was better than Scottie Pippen. Shawn Kemp was averaging more points than Scottie Pippen, and went to the finals, being a top dog. Rain Man was a beast. Shaq was better than Scottie Pippen, and he came into the league in 1992. By 1996, 5, whatever year you want to call it, he was already better than Pippen as an individual player. Yeah, it is kind of boring this year. I give you that. It definitely is. You know, Lakers play at 7:30, by the way, against the Chicago Bulls. That's going to be a good one. But here's the thing about the Lakers. I think they only make the news when they lose. Because if the Lakers win, it's like, okay, fine, you're supposed to win. You know, I think nobody really cares about it. I noticed even on sports debate show, they don't really talk about the Lakers much unless they losing. You know, it's still Lakers centric. It's still LeBron centric, you know, but the NBA, even the storylines is getting dull. I noticed something. Don't you notice football is always Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, and Aaron Rodgers? NBA is always LeBron James and a sprinkle of the Kevin Durant's and all those other guys, you know, Giannis's and all those guys. But still, most part is LeBron James and the Lakers. That's pretty much all the NBA is, you know, in terms of talking about. Boxing ain't got no face. That's the problem. There ain't no face of boxing. This is where a guy like Floyd Mayweather comes into hand. Because if Floyd was still boxing, at least he'd be the moneymaker of boxing. Sadly to say, I think Jake Paul is the biggest name in boxing. Oh my God, I can't believe I just said that. Oh, you're gonna have to let me recover from a while, because I just said Jake Paul is probably the biggest name in boxing. And that even disgusses me because he's not even a real boxer. So let me just take a while to cool down a little bit. Serenity now. My beloved boxing definitely took a toll. Patrick Ewing was better than Scottie Pippen. Yes, he was. David Robinson could have been on the Bulls. Jerry Krause could have pulled off a trade to say, hey, I give you the 5th draft pick and I give you Horace Grant. You give me David Robinson. David Robinson with Michael Jordan would have won like 7 championships in a row. No kidding. No line. No cap. You pit Mike with David Robinson? Yeah, it would lower Mike's value a little bit because Dennis Rodman ain't no role player. Dennis Rodman ain't no second option. You know, I mean, not Dennis Rodman. David Robinson. David Robinson was a franchise player. David Robinson had 70 points in the basketball game. Y'all don't realize that? And he was an all-star out the gate. You know? Mutombo, nah. Octavius, I can't give you that one. You know what I'm saying? I can't give you that one. Yeah, yo, that would be the ultimate circus, Z. Canelo need to stop ducking people and fight David Benavidez. I saw that fight. I covered. David Benavidez would give Canelo problems. Watch Canelo don't take that fight. Canelo been ducking a lot of fighters y'all don't know about because he been candy picking fights. But when he retires, y'all gonna sit there and say he the GOAT because he probably only got 1 loss. But he beat all these guys. He handpicked the fight. That's the problem with boxing. 85 to 90. I can't even tell you how good Canelo is because he won't allow himself to get tested. Take that spoke, man. He don't want that spoke, yo. He don't want it. Carmelo Anthony don't. I mean, not Carmelo Anthony. Canelo don't want that spoke. 82-85. Dallas Mavericks is pulling away as the Joker enters the game again. Yeah, I like that. I like that about UFC. I got no problems with UFC because UFC give me the fights I want to see. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, we had to stop the cat, man. I'm not trying to shine Michael Jordan's shoes or nothing like that. I'm just being straight up real with you. Scottie Pippen wasn't that dude like that. This wasn't no 1A, 1B. This wasn't no Shaq and Kobe. This was Mike, then Scottie Pippen. That's all that was. Okay. Now, Kobe and Shaq was a complete different beast. That was a two-headed monster. Because Kobe was considered the best player in the game with Shaq. There was like 1 and 2 best players in the world on the same team. Oh man, if you wanted 6, that'd be quite fascinating because Mutombo was offensively limited. So if Jordan could pull off 6 titles with Mutombo, that'd be more impressive than it'd probably be a little more impressive than Scottie Pippen. I mean, that'd be like hands down something crazy. But Mutombo's defense was savage. His defense was savage, you know. But I tell you this much: let the Bulls draft then David Robinson instead of Scottie Pippen and Horace Grant, man, the Bulls would have had like 7 championships. David Robinson with Mike. Mike would have got championships with or without Scottie Pippen. Because let's just say the Bulls was a train wreck, a cocaine stiffened train wreck. Guess what? Jordan probably would have pulled a LeBron and left. I don't think he would have formed a super team. I think he would have just went to one other all-star and that would have been it. You know? He said Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman at one point, especially when he was on the Detroit Pistons, you could make a case. Because he was pitting the clamps on Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen was scared of Dennis Rodman. That's why he didn't want Dennis Rodman on the Bulls in '96. You know, he had some a vendetta or a personal hatred against against Dennis Rodman. But Dennis Rodman used to stop Scottie Pippen. Nobody in Detroit stopped Michael Jordan individually. They just beat the team. Jordan was still dropping 60, 50, 40. You had the Detroit Pistons like, man, this guy keep dropping buckets on us. But we know all we got to do is just, body him, put a body on him, and the rest of the teammates ain't gonna respond. The rest of the teammates weren't up to the task to beat us. They weren't ready yet. And you would have been traded, Scotty, if it wasn't for Michael Jordan, because they was going to trade you for Tracy McGrady. Michael Jordan pulled the plug and said, hey, Scotty's my teammate. How come every time Jordan's at the acceptance speech and he talking, he give props to Scottie Pippen, knowing damn well Scottie Pippen wasn't on his level, but he's just being respectful because, dog, I went to war with you. You was my teammate. That's respect. And this is a guy that you guys call an a-hole, but he wasn't even respectful enough to give you love, man. Come on, dog. Like, if you get Mike on TV, Mike will say, man, me and Pippen would beat Kobe and Shaq. We would beat everybody. Because that's how much faith and belief and respect he had for you, just as a friend. I mean, like, come on, dog. You don't do shady stuff like that. But meanwhile, your Wiz is out here creeping. She belonged to the streets. But you doing nothing about that. But you supposed to be better than Jordan and more of an alpha, the best player of all time. You said you want to be remembered as the GOAT. Well, you ain't doing GOAT stuff. You're going to let that. If that was Mike, if Mike was put in that same situation, there will definitely be streets for his Wiz because she wouldn't be back in that crib. Scottie Pippen is just a straight up simp. Even the milkman, everybody probably skated on that. And you just let that rock. You probably caught some of them in the act, wilding out on you in the act. And you just, okay, I'll wait till you done, dog. I'm gonna sit out here in the living room and chill for a while. You know. No, I'm gonna wait out here and chill for a while. Hey, Mike, you think you could come over here and help me in this situation right here? You know, you heard yourself. You big dummy. You did a documentary and got no money for it. Who does that? The game is to be sold, not told. Even people on YouTube here know about making money. They ain't putting no content out for free when they're already monetized and all that. You got to be the most dumbest NBA player when it comes to making deals. You did a whole documentary, know what was in The Last Dance. You know that stuff was going to come up about you being a herb and all of that. Man, you co-sign it? You couldn't pay me to be in a documentary if I was getting paid for free. If you give me $0.0, I am not being in your documentary. Take my footage out. That's why Rick Ross gave you that ether. Who does something like a documentary and get paid nothing? Mike made $10 million off the Last Dance. You mad at him because he was able to negotiate a deal and not give away free content? You might as well give away your book for free, since you don't like making money. Come on, man. I never seen nobody do that. Y'all work for free? Do y'all wake up 9 to 5 every morning to not get paid money? I know I won't. I don't make Luka with a dagger 3. 95 to 88. You know, then he said in his book, you know, guys like Mike ruined the NBA. Why? Because he brought more money in? He brought more revenue in? That's like saying LeBron James, from a business standpoint, killed the NBA. If it wasn't for LeBron and the Kobe's and the Jordans, some of you mofos won't even be watching basketball. Who you think you was gonna pitch your top dollar to watch Scottie Pippen? You think people waste thousands of dollars to watch Scottie Pippen play? Nobody was paying to watch you play, fool. You was Tony Ayo. You wasn't even 50 Cent in the G Unit. You know? Like Ox said, you should have been worried about Future and them guys. How you going to let those guys get away with that? And you won't even address it? Dog, he won't even confront them dudes as a man. I thought you was a G, Scottie Pippen. I thought you stand up for yours. Y'all remember when X-Man Xavier from the Knicks got in Scottie Pippen's face? Scottie Pippen was all shook. Who came to his aid to save Scottie Pippen? Michael Jordan pushed Scottie Pippen out the way and got in Xavier's face. He took all the smoke for Scottie Pippen. Now, that's a guy that's willing to give his life on the court for you. A guy that if you fighting in the alley, Michael Jordan won't run. He'd be like, yo, I got you, dog. I'm here for all the smoke. Michael Jordan had to do nothing, but he pulled Scottie Pippen to the side. He grabbed Scottie Pippen's shirt like this, like a G. Grabbed Scottie Pippen's shirt and got up in that Xavier McDaniel's face. R.I.P. to Xavier McDaniel from Southside Jamaica, Queens. And Xavier was a scary dude. He was a tough guy. He was a gangster. That dude was from New York. He was a basketball player, but he was a G. You know, Biggie made a song about certain New York Knicks players. And it was rumored Xavier McDaniel was one of those guys that Biggie had a gun and the gun dropped, you know, while he was with one of the NBA players' girls. And Xavier and some goons ran up in the crib. They had guns. Biggie jumped out the window. or something to that degree. Y'all don't know about that story, but it's actually, he told it actually on his double CD album. So Xavier McDaniel, he'll pop them dangs off. He wasn't no joke. He was crazy like Vernon Maxwell. Jordan went face to face with a dude like Vernon Maxwell. You know how crazy Vernon Maxwell was? You think Pat Bev and all these dudes was crazy? No. You need to experience Vernon Maxwell. You need to experience how crazy that dude was. He was off his rocker. A lot of them dudes in the 90s and 80s was just flat out G's. These dudes was off their rocker, man. You had to be tough to stand up to these dudes, because if they sense weakness in you, they was going to run all over you. And Scottie Pippen was a weak dude. That's why Charles Oakley and Michael Jordan got along, because they were G's. They were alphas. And they was always busting on Scottie Pippen. If Scottie Pippen was a G, you wouldn't never allow them dudes to do that to you. Period. Horace Grant, you was a pre-Donna too. They used to call you Ho Grant. Michael Jordan tuck your food and say, hey, you didn't play good tonight. You don't deserve this food. You let a grown man do that to you, dog. It'd have been some furniture move. Yo, Mad Max was crazy, Octavius. Mad Max was the type of dude that'd catch a body. Y'all talking about like Pat Bev was crazy. You didn't know crazy until you seen Vernon Maxwell. He was crazy, All these dudes in the locker room was making fun of Scottie Pippen. Even when Scottie Pippen do an interview, if Mike decided Scottie Pippen was done with the interview, Mike will grab Scottie Pippen by the shirt and tell him, come on, Pippen. I showed you the video. I got receipts on this, how Michael Jordan was herbing Scottie Pippen. You was that guy in the basement. You gonna get yours, B. Belly. Because you wasn't out there like that. Oh, Anthony Mason, another Jamaica Queens dude. Yeah, I said it was either, I know it was one of them New York Knicks dude, Xavier or Anthony Mason. So if it was Anthony Mason, that's another crazy dude, bodybuilder, cross eyes. He was a killer. It's another dude, a flat out football player that did allow in the NBA. His skill set wasn't much there, but he was able to put a body on you. But you could be right on that, Octavius. I just thought it was because Xavier McDaniel and Anthony Mason are the same exact type of dudes. They from the hood. They got the same mentality. I know it was about one of them Knicks. It could be one of them dudes. Yo, yeah, Scotty, man, Charles Oakley was another gangster too, another OG gangster. Slapping. You're gonna let another man slap you and they put it on camera? You're a grown-ass man and you let another dude slap you. You don't do nothing about it? I would say, yo, dog, put them hands up. We don't have to fight for real. We could do slap boxing. We could do something. But you ain't gonna just smack me in the face. I'm just gonna go away. We could either fight for real or we could slap box. But I'm getting my slap back. I'm slapping you back. No, it's simple as that. Scottie Pippen didn't even do that. Come on, dog. Y'all stop capping for Scottie Pippen. You just making them look stupid. Because I got receipts. I'm from that era. That's my era. I will expose everything about Scottie Pippen. And rightfully so. Oh, yeah, you remember Anthony Mason? He wasn't an all-star for too many times, though. But, yo, he was another guy that put a body on you and beat the hell out of you. Very rough physical player. As a guy that growed up in 80s and 90s, I growed up with those physical players. Guys slapping your hand. Even if you black, your hand look like it's turning blue or red because you got nothing but spacks on your hand. Dudes doing this. Boom, 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 boom. All of that. And if you do that elbow back in the day, you had to take something because it was a war zone back then. Times was different. You want to know how different it was? Look into the 80s and 90s hip hop music. That's how basketball was. That's how sports was. That's how the general public think. That's just how it was, man. It was tough guy era. Everybody had to be tough. Cause ain't no such thing as halfway crooks. They scared to look. They shook. You know. Now I'm not advocating for violence, but I'm kind of glad that era of unnecessary roughness is over. You know, as an older guy, I could look back and be like, damn, we was brought up in a crazy era, man. Dudes was getting their ass kicked in the 80s and 90s, physically. You had to take that. Bloody lips, bloody nose. Yeah, I know what it was to play basketball. Basketball on the streets was just the same way like the NBA. The game was supposed to be physical. Dudes was supposed to be putting a body on you, and you had to work your way through that. That was street basketball. It was street basketball and the NBA back then was pretty much the same. The mentality was the same. You know how many busted lips, bloody noses, kicks to the groin, slaps to the face, slaps on the hand that I received from playing ball back then? Some of these guys today will have a hard time adjusting to that. You know, you have to physically be able to put up with that. Yo, Bol out here was balling. Bol straight from Africa. He out here doing his thing, though. He out here doing his thing. Yo, yesterday, man, off basketball a little bit, I had the most delicious piece of chicken that you ever going to taste. I never taste chicken this good. And it was from my wife's kitchen. It was from Hannah's kitchen. She made some Filipino style chicken that was like the best tasting chicken I ever taste. Ever. It's up there. Best tasting fish as a native New Yorker. But 1 minute to go. Dallas Mavericks closing out the Denver Nuggets. I'm not sold on the Denver Nuggets this year, man. They're taking a step down. Michael Porter Jr. is a disappointment. And it looks like the Joker going to need some help. The Joker may be out there by himself a little bit. He got surrounding pieces, but they ain't good enough. They just ain't good enough. Because the Dallas Mavericks ain't all that good. So, I mean, it is what it is. And as far for me, good news for me, man. I got two offers, officially 2 offers now. I could be working from home with 2 jobs. Multitasking. Morning to afternoon, I'd be good. You know? Yeah, Luka trusting his teammates more and they're getting the job done. No. Can it be so that the Mavericks got a better supporting cast than the Denver Nuggets? Oh, look like Luka just got hurt. But yeah, man. Scotty's just trying to sell books. That's all he is. But you mad because people talking about LeBron and Jordan, but they don't talk about you? No, you're not on that level. I mean, you're just not on that level, man. Sorry. You're just not on that level, man. There's so many players that did more stuff than you. You know? You got to fill that resume up. Your biggest accomplishment is that you've been a 6-time All-Star? 6 times? Dog, there's plenty of guys individually that got more than 6-time All-Stars. They got MVPs on it. Giannis is better than Scottie Pippen. Giannis won a championship as an alpha number 1. Defensive player of the year. 2-time MVP. Scottie Pippen didn't do none of that. You even said it yourself, Scottie Pippen, that you don't want to be compared to Giannis because you didn't want as much as Giannis individually. You don't got the resume Giannis got, you know? You know what I'm saying? And I may get that chicken again. World's best chicken that you ever gonna taste. You may not see me eating it because I'll probably be off this live stream about the time that chicken get done. So, and hey, you don't see me eating it, man. You don't see me eating it. But, I'm about to eat that with some rice, Man, Scottie Pippen wants some attention in the worst way. Won't you try to get some attention from your family? Won't you fix that first? Instead of worrying about Michael Jordan and what your legacy is in basketball. Your legacy is in basketball is what it always was. You're a great Robin, and you will always be known as a great Robin. At least when people talk about sidekicks, you're one of the first names that people bring up. So once you compete against other sidekicks, leave the big dogs alone. Leave the number one, the alphas alone, and compete against sidekicks. Once you compete against Pau Gasol, y'all both were sidekicks. Compete against that. Yeah, I think Luka got a ankle injury. He may miss a game or two. But if you're gonna get hurt, now is the time to do it. As long as you don't get hurt late in the season. Yeah. Wow. 9 for 32. That was Brick Nation. Who you talking about? You talking about me? Rumor is I love Durant. You talking about me? You gotta be talking about somebody in the chat, bro. Yeah, he had multiple chances to try to be Batman. He had multiple chances to be one B to Michael Jordan. He couldn't do it. Yo, G man, he talking about me or you? Because I'm talking about some other stuff. I don't know if he talking about me or you. Oh, okay, he talking about you. I was about to say, I would have spacked some fire out that serious acts of yours. I had to come to your house and break your Xbox. Talking that nonsense, man. Keep playing. I'm gonna knock on your door and throw your Xbox away. You're gonna be crying, be like, yo, where my Xbox at? No. I'm gonna treat you like a kid, son you right now. Until you learn how to talk right, you don't get your Xbox back. Let him know, G Money. Tell him he don't get his Xbox back. You upon his Xbox. You know what I'm saying? You know it, because Tony Kukoc was one of the best players in Europe. That's how he got in the Hall of Fame, by the way, because he was the best player in Europe. He came to the NBA. He didn't quite live up to the hype a little bit, but he was still a better shooter than Scottie Pippen, and he was hitting clutch shots in the regular season. Scottie Pippen wasn't doing that. Lakers and Bulls next. Who you got? Lakers and Bulls next. Who you got? So yeah. But then the game come on in a couple minutes, man. I'm just relaxing a little bit, cooling myself down. Got to get some iced tea in a minute. That's right, G Money. Tell him you're not scared of anyone. You like spoke with everybody. I mean, that's how it is when you doing sports, man. You know. Okay, this Laker game start at 7:30. I think I may come on I may come back with the Laker game and see what's going on with that. You know, but I'm gonna take a little break and come back later because we was on here for this last quarter, last game. Definitely gonna be back on later. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I see it. Basketball all day, every day. You know. Yo, Mr. Serious X. If you feel like that, then hey, you're more than welcome to come in. Because I could tell you, G Money has battled just about everybody on my live screen. He went toe to toe just with everybody on the debate. He battled. He had a debate with T. He had a debate with Hoop Facts. He even had a debate with me before, you know, and we could always shake hands and, you know, go our ways after we done. And there's no harm in it. But if you didn't come on here live to debate with nobody, you can't be calling people a coward. If anybody's a coward, it must be you because you never came on here to get no smoke with nobody. You know? Yeah, G Money, you battled everybody on here, man. I can't think of who you haven't debated. You debated, I believe, Raw Status, if I'm not mistaken. Everybody that came on this channel, and we've been doing this for a while, man. I had so many guests come on this channel, and G Money, if he disagreed with some of them, he went at all of them. You battled. You had debates with the Great One. You had debates with Kid Trunks, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, you had debates with everybody. So, you know how many people that we had debates with on this channel? You know what I'm saying? A lot. So yeah, man. But yo, we about to be back in here later on for this Laker game. So and then I talk some more basketball, whatever happened later. So for now, we out. But yeah, you know, see, look, you got him quiet now, G Money. Tell him to go to bed and get some sleep. You know, tell him to do his research before he debate. Stop playing video games. It's killing your brain cells. We out, man. Peace.